Are you able to know your truth in the present moment and then how to discern whether or not to express it if that's in your best interest? And realizing that when we're knowing our truth in the present moment, that means it can change. Thanks for joining me. This is Brenda Florida. I'm a life coach and lifestyle advisor, and I love this idea of living lavishly. I want to have it all. I want you to have it all. And part of having it all is knowing what our truth is and then knowing whether or not to express it and realizing that I want to be centered in my own truth in the present moment, which means my truth might change, right? If I'm staying connected to myself in the present moment, something could happen. I could get more information or learn something that I didn't know, or, realize that I've made something mean something that it doesn't, or I've put an interpretation on something that changes what my truth is in that situation. So it's a little trickier sometimes than it sounds, in that, we're often really influenced, our truth is often influenced by our family of origin, by any groups that we're a part of, whether they're religious or other, types of groups, where there tends to be a common thought process that holds it together. And then you have that moment where you might find yourself thinking, that doesn't really feel true to me. It happens a lot in relationships, of course, where what's true for me isn't necessarily true for you. And so the first thing is really being able to sort of go inside to discover what your own truth is. This is something I work a lot with clients privately, because again, it can be a little tricky. Some of us were raised to always believe what an outside authority said. This happens a lot with women, right? As little girls, and even, into our teenagers and adulthood, taught to believe whatever an authority figure says. It happened to me within the context of a very conservative religious culture, where I was just taught to believe what, somebody else said, an adult or a minister or somebody like that, that was this authority, and I was supposed to believe it, and that was my truth without questioning it. And as I got older, I realized, of course, well, I don't always agree with those things, and those things don't feel authentic to me. So part of living lavishly is this ability to really know your truth in the present moment and then discern whether or not you want to express it. Is that in your highest good, right? Because we can all be in situations where I certainly have many times known my truth and then just kind of chickened out and didn't express it. And it wasn't because it was in my highest good not to, it was because I didn't have the courage to do it. Or maybe I didn't have the confidence to do it. So we want to grow in our own courage, and be able to speak our truth when it's in our highest good. By the same token, I have been in situations where I realized it was not in my highest good to speak my truth. A situation where I was leaving a relationship and I just didn't feel emotionally or really physically safe to speak my truth. So, whether you speak your truth or not is very much an issue of discernment in the moment of what's in your highest and best good. And I think one of the hallmarks of it is that there's a sort of inner peace with it, right? Even if you're doing something very hard, leaving this relationship was very hard, but I knew my truth. And even though acting on my truth meant, my goodness, I threw my life in all kinds of crisis and turmoil, there was still a certain amount of peace internally that went together with acting on that truth. Now, again, with that one, I didn't so much say the words as I acted in a way that was congruent with what my truth was. And conversely, these times where I've sometimes kept my mouth shut and not spoken my truth when I really should have for my highest good, that creates a certain amount of just anxiety and sort of yucky feeling, because you're not standing up for what is true for you when you need to be. So just a couple of thoughts on that. It's totally unique in every situation, in every present moment, and part of the fun of the journey of life, right? And as we strive to live lavishly and have it all, It's not just external things. It's not just about traveling or having a beautiful home or those things. To live lavishly is really about being congruent with who you are. And we're going to talk about that more in the next video when we talk about being unapologetically authentic, which is one of my favorite topics. But so if you don't have the manifesto, download it from my website, brendaflorida.com. You'll get the sign up form there. And I'd love to hear your comments about this below, because this can be a sort of complicated topic. So I'd love to hear what you think about speaking your truth in the present moment and knowing whether or not that's in your highest good. So thanks, everybody, and let's live lavishly today.